Hello, lovely viewers. Today we delve into the extraordinary life of one of the most infamous figures in modern history, Pablo Escobar, a man whose rise to power and subsequent fall marked an era of crime, wealth, and violence. Join us as we navigate through the turbulent life of the king of cocaine, Pablo Emilio Escobar. Gaviria was born on December 1, 1949, in Rio Negro, a small town in Colombia. Raised in poverty, Escobar's early life was marked by struggles. His introduction to the world of crime came through small-time scams and theft, foreshadowing the criminal empire he would later build. Raised in humble surroundings, Pablo showed a remarkable entrepreneurial spirit from an early age. His family struggled to make ends meet, and young Pablo sought unconventional ways to contribute. Legend has it that as a teenager, he would buy stolen tombstones and resell them to local cemeteries, foreshadowing the illicit ingenuity that would come to define his future. Pablo's enterprising nature led him to engage in petty crime, but it was his introduction to the world of contraband and smuggling that set him on a path to notoriety. As a teenager, he worked for contraband smuggler Alvaro Prieto, who mentored him in the art of evading authorities and navigating the treacherous world of black market goods. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Escobar capitalized on the booming cocaine trade, turning Colombia into the epicenter of the drug world. His ingenious smuggling techniques and ruthless business tactics earned him unimaginable wealth, making him one of the richest men in the world. Pablo's journey into the cocaine trade began with a chance meeting in the city of Medellin. The buzz of the vibrant streets masked the clandestine dealings taking place in the shadows. It was here that he encountered Fabio Restrepo, a chemist with a vision to transform coca leaves into a white powder that would captivate the world. Fascinated by the possibilities, Pablo joined forces with Restrepo, and together they established a rudimentary laboratory hidden deep in the Colombian jungles. It was a modest beginning, a far cry from the sprawling operations that would later define the infamous Medellin cartel. As Restrepo worked his alchemy to extract pure cocaine from coca leaves, Pablo's mind raced with visions of boundless wealth. The refined product promised riches beyond his wildest dreams, but getting it to the lucrative markets of the United States proved to be a daunting challenge. Pablo, ever the strategist, delved into the art of smuggling. His early attempts were marked by audacity and creativity. Small quantities of cocaine were ingeniously concealed within everyday items like car tires and even the panels of planes. It was a risky game, but the potential profits were too enticing to resist. The daring escapades continued, with Pablo and his growing network of associates exploring new routes and methods. The vastness of the Colombian landscape became both an ally and an adversary, offering hiding spots and treacherous terrain in equal measure. Pablo's smuggling techniques evolved as he sought to outsmart law enforcement. He acquired fleets of planes and pilots who navigated perilous routes over the Caribbean, delivering the precious cargo to eager buyers in the United States. The Medellin cartel's ingenuity knew no bounds. Submarines, hidden compartments in ships, and even remote airstrips carved into the jungle became part of their intricate web. As the cocaine trade flourished, so did Pablo's reputation. The young man who once dreamt of escaping poverty was now at the helm of a burgeoning empire. However, the shadows of violence and corruption lurked beneath the surface, foreshadowing the darker chapters of his reign. Pablo Escobar's introduction to the cocaine trade was a thrilling odyssey, marked by innovation, risk, and unbridled ambition. Little did he know that his ascent in this underworld would eventually cast a long and ominous shadow over the pages of history. As Escobar's empire grew, he portrayed himself as a modern-day Robin Hood, showering the poor with money and building schools and hospitals. However, his charitable acts were a facade to mask the brutality that lay beneath. As his drug empire flourished, so did his philanthropic endeavors. One of his most notable initiatives was the construction of housing for the destitute. The infamous Barrio Pablo Escobar emerged, providing homes for thousands who had previously lived in squalor. For many, it was a lifeline out of poverty, even if it was constructed on the shaky foundations of the drug trade. Education, too, became a cornerstone of Escobar's purported benevolence. He poured funds into building schools and universities, ensuring that the youth of Medellin had access to educational opportunities that were previously unimaginable. Thousands of students, who might have otherwise been denied an education, found themselves in classrooms thanks to the unexpected generosity of the drug kingpin. In the eyes of some, Pablo was a champion of the people, a charismatic leader who could bridge the gap between the privileged and the impoverished. His political foray saw him elected to the Colombian Congress in 1982, further solidifying his image as a man of the people. Yet even in the realm of politics, his altruistic facade concealed a darker reality, one where corruption and coercion lurked behind the scenes. Pablo's charisma extended beyond bricks and mortar. He funded hospitals and clinics, offering healthcare to those who had long been neglected. His influence on the city was palpable, as he transformed Medellin into a metropolis with amenities that, on the surface, seemed to defy its troubled past. However, the benevolence of Pablo Escobar was a double-edged sword. His philanthropic endeavors were built on the profits of a ruthless drug trade that wrought havoc not only in Colombia, but across international borders. With power came violence. Escobar's Medellin cartel was responsible for countless murders, bombings, and kidnappings. The drug lord's ability to manipulate the Colombian government and law enforcement allowed him to operate with impunity. As the cocaine trade flourished in the 1980s, so did Pablo's thirst for dominance. His ruthlessness knew no bounds, and his tactics for eliminating rivals became increasingly brutal. The picturesque landscapes of Colombia concealed the grim reality of a nation in the grip of drug-related violence, with Pablo at the helm. One of the most infamous incidents was the bombing of Avianca Flight 203 in 1989. The commercial airliner, carrying 107 passengers, was blown out of the sky in a targeted attack orchestrated by Escobar. The intended target was a presidential candidate, but the collateral damage showcased the lengths to which Pablo would go to protect his empire. The skies above Colombia became a battleground, and innocent lives paid the price for crossing paths with the drug lord's ambitions. Pablo's violence extended beyond the borders of his homeland. The United States felt the impact of his wrath, especially during the height of the war on drugs. The Medellin cartel's ruthless war against extradition led to the assassination of numerous judges, politicians, and law enforcement officials. Colombia's streets became a war zone, with car bombings, drive-by shootings, and public executions becoming commonplace. The terrorizing reach of Pablo Escobar knew no bounds. He waged war against rival cartels, such as the Cali cartel, with a ferocity that turned the city of Medellin into a battleground. The infamous sicarios, or hitmen, under his employ became instruments of fear, carrying out executions with chilling efficiency. Bodies piled up in the wake of this drug-fueled war, leaving scars on the collective memory of Colombia. In the face of mounting pressure from the government and rival cartels, Pablo escalated his brutality. The once charismatic figure who funded schools and hospitals now reveled in the macabre. His private zoo, once a symbol of opulence, housed exotic animals alongside the wreckage of a crashed airplane, a macabre reminder of his violent reign. In 1992, Escobar escaped from La Catedral, a luxurious prison he built for himself. The dramatic escape further fueled the manhunt. Eventually, on December 2, 1993, Escobar's reign came to a violent end. Pablo's escape from La Catedral, the luxurious prison he had designed for himself, unfolded like a scene from a Hollywood thriller. On July 22, 1992, as law enforcement closed in, he vanished into the Colombian countryside. The manhunt that ensued became a spectacle, with helicopters, special forces, and intelligence agencies converging on the hunt for the fugitive. For months, Pablo lived life on the run, orchestrating his escape from one safe house to another. The jungles and mountains of Colombia became his refuge, as he employed a network of loyal associates to stay one step ahead of his pursuers. The elusive drug lord seemed to defy the very forces determined to bring him down. However, the pressure intensified, and the noose had tightened once again. The chase led authorities to a modest neighborhood in Medellin, where Pablo's family lived. The hunt became a cat-and-moose game, with Escobar staying on the move, leaving cryptic messages and taunting those who sought to capture him. It was on a fateful day in December 1993 that Pablo Escobar's dramatic saga reached its climax. A rooftop in Medellin became the stage for his final stand. Surrounded by elite Colombian forces, the once untouchable drug lord faced the inevitability of his capture. The dramatic shootout that ensued echoed through the streets, bringing an end to the era of one of the world's most notorious criminals. Pablo Escobar, who had escaped prison in grand fashion, now found himself cornered and outnumbered. On December 2, 1993, the man who had eluded capture for so long fell in a hail of bullets, marking the end of his reign of terror. Thank you for joining us on this in-depth journey into the life of Pablo Escobar. The life of Pablo Escobar was a roller coaster of crime, power, and tragedy. As we explore more stories that have shaped our world, we encourage you to learn from the past and strive for a better future. This was True Crime Telling. Until next time.